Isn't that funny? Just as we go to start, my alarm went to tell us that we started. Hey there, this is Cece with Going Solo, and welcome to the show. You are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And if you don't know me, I do a lot with divorce recovery, transition and dating relationship. I have several sites here on the Facebook, and we try to really help people move through the transition of really living their best lives. And that's what it's all about. And so tonight I have with me one of my good friends and co-hosts on the radio station, Rosalind Sedacca. Welcome, Rosalind.
Oh, hi. It's great to see you again, as always.
Oh, it's so nice to see you. We're good friends, and we've gotten to be good friends because we both have the same passion of helping others through that transition of divorce. And Rosalind actually helps a great deal of not only individuals, but families themselves. She is the voice of the child-centered divorce. She's America's dating in midlife mentor. She coaches both men and women through the life challenges and achieve life transformation. Along with her sister, Amy Sherman, they do a terrific show here, which is called Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living. And I love that on WGSN. So I know you wear many hats and you're very well respected in the community of helping others through divorce. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to being with us tonight.
Always a pleasure talking with you, Cece. I enjoy it very much.
Oh, it's great. Well, tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got into doing what you're doing.
I was married for over 20 years, and the last 10 years were not happy, and I wanted a divorce, and I was traumatized by the thought of what it was going to do to my son. And finally, after a lot of therapy and inner work and prayer, I decided I needed to initiate this divorce. And my son was 11 at the time, and it was the most difficult, challenging thing I had ever done. But once I knew it was right for me, I wanted to move ahead, and I was very concerned about how it was going to traumatize my son, the impact on him. And he was close to both me and to his father, who was a good man and a good father. We just didn't get along and didn't see eye to eye on so many issues that I was very unhappy. And so I ultimately spent weeks of sleepless nights trying to figure out how to break the divorce news to my son, and came up with my own idea, which ultimately I used myself with my husband in talking to my son. And it was very, very effective. And then we went on into the co-parenting process, the challenges that everyone faces in moving your child into two different homes and trying to cooperate and get along with your ex, and then dating and starting over myself, dealing with my own self-esteem and transforming myself into who I want to be, and letting go of the anger and frustrations and grudges, and then watching my son and making sure we were co-parenting in a way that wasn't harming and scarring him. And so we went through all of that, and I know what everyone out there is going through because you're not alone. And it wasn't until my son was in his early 20s that he came to me one day and he said, you know, Ma, you and Dad did such a good job with the divorce. I just want to thank you because most of my friends whose parents divorced either hate their parents or are very angry at them about a lot of things. And I think you and Dad were great. And I just...
That's great.
Such a sigh of relief because I felt such guilt for so long. And that's when I decided I had something to really share with the world. And that's when I founded the Child-Centered Divorce Network. And that's when I became a divorce and parenting coach and wrote my first book, How Do I Tell the Kids About the Divorce? And from then, over the last 10 years, I've been creating other resources, other products, and providing coaching services, courses and ebooks and programs to help people before the divorce, during the divorce, and long, long after the divorce, and then into dating and relationships. And I became a dating and relationship coach. And with my sister, who's a mental health counselor, we collaborated on writing 99 Things Women Wish They Knew Before Dating After 40, 50, and yes, 60.
And believe me, that's probably a long list of things, I tell you.
Yes, 99 things. And then we created several books, courses, and programs for women and for men who are moving on after any kind of breakup, transitioning in their lives, but especially if they happen to be parents, because then you have an additional level of challenge and emotional involvement in your children. And we all want and need to protect our children. So this is the work that I do and I'm passionate about. And I've been working even with other family members in my own family. There are people who have gone through divorce. And then, of course, I work with people on 5 continents around the world, because regardless of what country you're living in, the emotional upheaval is the same. The legal systems are different, and I'm not an attorney, and we collaborate with attorneys and especially with mediators and collaborative divorce experts. So I work with the legal experts. But my focus is on helping you as the adult make the best decisions for your children, and then helping you transition into wiser, more fulfilling, and lasting love relationships down the road.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because I know tonight we wanted to kind of focus a little bit about, how to really find ourselves again after divorce, because so often, and I've heard it many times, including myself, is I kind of lost myself in the divorce. I had a long-term marriage, and then when I'm stepping into this new world of technology, that looking at dating, totally different than what it was when I was a kid, and then what am I to do, and what are my interests, and how do I pick up and start over again, being older, and so I thought you would be an excellent person to bring on to start talking about creating a path for ourselves. So what kind of advice could you give our listeners out there who might be struggling a bit with this type of situation?
Well, thank you. And I do have so much that I like to share on this topic. First and foremost, it's very important that we stop before we move ahead in any new relationships and make sure we're not carrying baggage from the old. And it's inevitable. If you're anywhere over 20 years old, you have relationship baggage. And when you've gone through serious breakups and or divorces, then it's even compounded. And so too often we find people who immediately after their divorce start looking again for another partner. And they think this time they're going to get it right and it's going to be different. Now, statistics show that the divorce rate for second marriages and third marriages and on are greater and greater and greater. And that's because too many people haven't made any changes. They're the same person, and then they marry the same person with a different face, and they expect a different result, and they don't get it. So we have to stop and really do our homework. First, we have to make sure we're not carrying a poor sense of self with us, because if you don't feel you are a great catch, if you don't feel that you have much of value and that you are desirable to who you're looking for, they are not going to find you desirable and not find you of value. And so you're immediately going to attract a lesser caliber of person, someone who's more exploitive, someone who sees your weaknesses and insecurities and preys on them. And too often we see people for whom that happens. They get involved with people who manipulate, control, abuse, and they take it because they don't feel they're good enough to get someone better, or they don't deserve someone better, or they don't know how to find someone better, and they're stuck in a pattern. So please seek out the help of a therapist, a coach, an expert who has done the work on the inner self to help you do that, and it reflects on the outer self. We've all seen people who exude confidence and self-esteem regardless of their appearance. So we're not talking about getting facelifts and losing 25 pounds and doing a change on the outer. That's great if you want to do changes on the outer, more power to you. You want to feel good about yourself. But no matter what you do on the outer side, if you don't really feel good about yourself on the inside, none of it is going to work. And yet there are people who exude confidence and energy and attract people to them. And that comes from liking yourself, respecting yourself, and knowing yourself. And if you don't know yourself, we have processes that we could do with you to help you hone in and find out who you really are. Because very often in someone who's been in a long-term relationship or several long-term relationships, they lose themselves. They start becoming the partner to Joe or Bob or Susan or whatever the circumstances, and their life is devoted to whatever their partner wanted, and they don't want to cause waves, so they let go of what they used to like and who they used to want to be with, and they suddenly lose themselves. And it's a process to find yourself again, but it's a wonderful, wonderful process. It's really joyful.
I agree with that. Yeah.
If you commit to it, because you are uncovering love for you. Now, we're not talking about becoming egotistical. We all hate people who are egotistical and are totally self-absorbed and think they're better than you. We're not talking about thinking you're better than someone. We're talking about thinking you are worthy and deserving of a healthy, happy relationship with a quality person. And we want to find and attract high caliber people. And when I say high caliber, I'm not talking rich. I'm talking people with good quality traits, character traits, people with integrity, who are kind, who care about you, who express their love in ways that you feel loved and feel respected. People who respect you. No relationship can work without respect from your partner. And people who do favors for you, and in turn you do favors for them. So we're talking about people who are worthy of marrying or developing a long-term partnership with. And so you have to be on that level to attract someone on that level. And you have to know what that is. If you've come from an abusive life, a life where you've been manipulated or cajoled or put upon it and made to feel that you're less than or not worthy or you're not attractive or you're not intelligent or any of those things, then there are scars there. So the first step is working on getting rid of those scars, getting rid of those burdens, boosting your self-esteem and ego, and knowing that you are a worthwhile partner, worthy of having someone wonderful come into your life. Yeah. And then you can step out and start playing with different strategies for dating and finding someone, but someone who complements you. Most important of all, and this is especially so for women, we don't want to look for men with potential. Potential is a dead word, because potential means they're not where we think they should be and we're going to fix them. We don't want rubbers. We don't fix partners. We want someone who's already fixed themselves and come complete. We don't want someone to complete us. That line in that movie was totally ridiculous. No one can complete us. We have to complete ourselves, and that means doing the homework. No one's going to fix us. No one's going to complete us. No one's going to make us what we aren't. Nor are we going to take someone with potential and fix them or complete them and turn them into who they should be, because no one will be what they don't want to be, no matter how much women think, you have so much potential and you should be this and I can help you do that. It never, never works. So at this stage of our life, we want to find a partner who complements us. And that means if we are leaning on each other in a relationship, and we do this dance of leaning and depending on one another, and all of that is healthy in a relationship, we don't want to be leaning to the extent that if our partner pulls away, we fall because there's no one there. So we want to be upright and cooperating with each other, but should our partner ever leave us, we're still standing whole and complete within ourselves. And that is the difference.
Yeah, so I think that's so important, especially as we're older. And if we're looking into, possibly another relationship, we definitely need to be able to stand on our own and still be happy with ourselves and be whole versus, feeling like we've just got this whole emptiness with inside, and that we're not worthy of being able to move forward. I often think about it as like raising the bar. I think we have to sometimes raise the bar on ourselves. We are worthy of it.
I love that. Yes. And along with that, no one is going to fill the hole in us. If we have a void, If there is a wound and a hole, we do the inner work and we get the help we need first. No one is going to fill that hole for us. And we get in trouble when we have those erroneous expectations because we set ourselves up for disappointment and we set ourselves up for failure. And remember that no partner, no man or woman can live up to completing us, fixing us, healing us, making us whole. So it's inevitable that they're going to fail, and then we're going to be angry at them and say, oh, that you were a bad partner. And when the truth is we were looking for something that was unrealistic. So
Right.
we have to take responsibility for healing ourselves. And I know some people don't want to hear that, but after you go through 2 or 3 or 4 divorces, you come back to the same place and you realize that's the only way to go, is to heal yourself and then move on and find someone who has done the same. And that's the kind of raise the bar, high caliber partner we're talking about.
Right. And, sometimes that's mucky, doing that. Sometimes it's not such an easy thing to do. And we have to step outside of the box a little bit because, especially if we've been in an abusive type of relationship, it's something that we become accustomed to, I hate to say.
Yes.
So we're kind of used to that. Right.
Yes.
So then we step into another relationship and they're not treating us well. And then we're thinking, well, wait a minute. And so we definitely have to, again, really evaluate ourselves and understand that, we are, our expectation level needs to be a little bit higher. We can, get someone better into our lives that will make us, happy versus making us feel uneasy about ourselves.
Life is an inside job, and we should be learning that in school. But since we're not, most adults don't understand it. The way to change, fix, and heal anything that's not going right in our lives is always to look within and see what we can do, because it's easier, as difficult as it is, it's easier to shift and change ourselves than it ever is to try to shift or change another person, because no one changes until they're ready. And you could see that with alcoholics and drug addicts and sex addicts and gamblers and all kinds of people who have addictions and problems. When you're not ready to do it, nothing on earth is going to shake you or change it. And so we have to be aware that it's easier to shift ourselves. And sometimes the shift doesn't have to be that dramatic, but it could be looking elsewhere. Maybe there's a type of guy we're always attracted to.
Right.
Maybe there's a type of environment we feel comfortable. Step out of that environment and allow yourself to talk to or flirt or spend time with another kind of guy or gal and see what happens. Because when we open ourselves up to new experiences, sometimes it's shocking to see that, hey, there's some really interesting people out there. We're very dismissive. We have this attitude of, all the good ones are taken. There isn't a damn good guy out there. No women, or the ones that are left are just abusive and users and this and that. And I hear that all the time with clients, these stereotypes. Yeah. And the truth is, it's only true in your world because that's the limited view you've had, the limited perspective, the limited experience. Have you gone and taken some courses at the university for fun things that you're passionate about? Have you gone on a trip or on a singles trip with other people and gotten away for a week? Have you explored a hobby that and take it to a deeper level, or joined a group of people who share a common interest? Have you volunteered at a hospital or at a pet shelter and found other people who are compassionate and share your interests? Follow your passion, and you're much more likely to just meet other people in not singles designed places, but just in life. And someone says, hey, I have a neighbor who I'd love you to meet. And suddenly you're being introduced to someone who's a much more high quality person, but you never would have met them had you not been in that environment.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the journey, because often for myself, and I've had some pretty difficult times. I mean, I've gone through a lot of just challenges, total challenges. But then I stop for a minute and I think to myself, what am I to learn for this? Because I think that sometimes when we go through these difficult times in our lives, we're supposed to learn something from them. And so when we step back and we ask ourselves, what am I supposed to learn from this? What is happening to me? Am I doing something that is it a choice that I'm making this is happening to me? Is there something I can do differently? Or am I supposed to go down this road a little bit so that I can learn something further? Because I think sometimes we want to rush that journey that we have to go on, and it's really all about savoring the journey that we're on, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I love that you brought this up, because I call it the gift. Look for the gift in the divorce, in the breakup, in the pain, whatever your circumstance was, whatever the challenges that you're climbing out of. Look for the gift, which is also the lesson. Because sometimes, despite all the pain and suffering and frustration and anxiety and hurt that we've experienced, there is a gem. There is an insight, an awareness, a vision, a new friend, something new that happened that shifted your life, that's given you a whole new life that you never would have had otherwise. And you could look at it and say, thank you for this gift. Thank you for the lesson, because now I will never do that again, say that again, go there again. It's given me a life lesson so that I can move in a better, healthier direction. And if we ignore those gifts, they're being given to us, and some people look at them, acknowledge them, and grab them and then use them. And other people are so busy feeling sorry for themselves and in a victim state that they ignore the lessons. They ignore the awareness. Now, if you're in a victim state and feeling sorry for yourself, and then you ignore the lessons that are there for you, you're just going to repeat them again and again, because you haven't absorbed anything. You haven't taken anything away new. And that is a very sad state to be in, because you're in a downward spiral, and there's just no end to how deep down you can go into depression and into feeling bad about yourself. But fortunately, with the help and support of an individual or a group or a team or close friends, you can get insights or someone else to help you find those lessons and those gifts. And they're golden, because that can start you on a whole new life journey. And I remember going through the pain of my divorce and coming out of some of my darkest days. And I had an awareness that what I want most in life is peace. I had so much drama for so many years, and the highs and lows of love and relationships and ups and downs and ins and outs. And I realized that what I wanted was peace. And peace was just this wonderful gift for me. It meant I'm not dealing with highs and lows, but I'm just flowing along in life. And since then, I've always made peace my first level of awareness, the most important thing in my life. And I've been given so much more peace in my life than in the first half of my life. And I'm so grateful for that, because for me, that's healing and fulfilling. For someone else, it can be something else. But you get to know yourself when you're looking for the answers, and when you're aware that you're on this journey. The journey isn't to get somewhere, it's being aware all the way through, as you say, because every step of the way, we learn, we get insights, we meet new friends, we get new levels of support, and we discover new things about ourselves. I had no idea in the world that in the second half of my life, I'd be recognized as the voice of child-centered divorce and being a relationship coach. Never could have imagined such a thing. And yet my life took its course and led me here, and I am so deeply grateful for it, because it's a passion. I love helping people shortcut their way so they don't have to go through years and years of pain.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'll just share with you real quickly. I have a couple friends that are psychics, and I've had some readings done. And a long time ago, before I even got on the radio or anything like that, they told me that I was going to be on the radio, I was going to be on TV and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, they've got to be out of their mind. I can barely lift my head up through this divorce. What are they talking about? And here I am today. So it goes to show you that you do have a path, even though you don't really kind of understand why you're going through some of the things that you're going through. But there are challenges in life. And, as I look at my life now, I think, how boring would my life be if I didn't have some of these challenges? So, I mean, I have much goodness in my life too. I mean, I have my children and a lot of really great friends. I mean, the social media, I just have so much fun with all of this. So I just think that we have to savor what we do have that gives us joy, because so often as we're going through the trenches of sadness, if we can just hold on to something and so when she gave me that reading and told me that all of this was going to happen to me, I did not believe her at all. But I hung on to that because I thought, okay, if this is what she says is going to happen, so goodness is going to come to me. I'm going to hang on to that thought. And it did eventually, because I kept moving towards that. I kept moving towards what I thought that my future might hold for me. And so I think we all can do that.
You did a great job with it, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Gratitude is definitely one of the things I believe is most valuable in helping us get out of a slump and move on and find ourselves, is being grateful for the good that we see around us, because sometimes we take it all for granted.
Oh, yeah. And we should really be very grateful and have that. And I think that gratitude journal that, we so recommend people to write down, or at least every day, think of 3 things that make you happy and that you want to be thankful for, because it puts you in a positive state of mind. So there's so many tricks that you can do. And I think coaches like yourself give those ideas to people so that they can be able to move forward.
And there's a lot of resources on my websites. People can find me at childcentereddivorce.com for the divorce and parenting side of the equation. Also at womendatingafter40.com. That's 40, womendatingafter40.com, mensdatingformula.com, and womendatingrescue.com, which is our 10-week e-course to help women find the best, most meaningful relationship in the fastest way, because they've done the inner work first.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, our time went by very quickly, so we're going to have to probably go here soon. But what would you like to leave the audience, with just one last word of advice, or something that you could give them? What nugget would you, and I've heard you say this before, what nugget would you like to leave behind? I listen to your shows.
Thank you. Well, nothing compensates for poor self-esteem. So if that is an area that you're not feeling totally at peace about, then work on boosting your self-esteem. Reach out and get some resources to help you, because there's processes and tools that you can use to do that. And then you can reinvent yourself. And when you believe you are a great catch, everything changes, and suddenly other people believe it too, and they appear out of nowhere, and suddenly there are new interesting people in your life. But it starts with knowing that you deserve it. And that's what I want everyone to take away and understand, that regardless of how you may feel about yourself today, next week can be a whole different experience for you if you just start the process of loving yourself more and valuing yourself more.
Absolutely. Well, you've given us some wonderful advice and words of wisdom here of really trying to find the path to the new you. And it's a journey, to really kind of celebrate and savor as you move forward. So it's not something you want to rush. So I think it's something that we do have to kind of take our time with. And, at the end of the day, I think we're going to look back and say, gosh, maybe it wasn't so bad, getting through that. Right?
Absolutely right.
Absolutely. Okay, so share one more time your websites and how everyone can reach you, Rosalind.
Yeah. Childcentereddivorce.com, womendatingrescue.com, mensdatingformula.com, and womendatingafter40.com. We'll give you the single side of the and dating and relationships, as well as divorce and parenting side of the equation. And you could contact me at rosalindwrites@gmail.com, ROSALIND WRITES@gmail.com.
Okay, that's great. And don't forget, she does have a show on our WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and it's every Tuesday night and Friday night. Pardon?
Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living.
Absolutely. And it's great because I listen to it. I've gained a great deal from it. I really want to share that with the audience because I listen to your shows. I listen to all the host shows that are on there, and they really do help. And so it's amazing all that happens in just that little half an hour that you can listen to that show. So I hope that everyone will do that. Well, listen, I know if you are out there, oh, we do have someone here. Let's see. You're so right. Thank you. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to bring these comments forward. We'll get this. But Eric, I see you that on here, so thank you so much for joining us. I know some of you others are on there on the site too, listening to us, and we don't know how to bring you up forward, but we're going to learn as we go here. So we do thank you so much for joining us. I hope you got something out of this because I know I did, and I catch little tidbits here and there too, and I know that you did. So I want to appreciate all of you for listening to us. Rosalind, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cece. Always a pleasure.
It's great. Well, we're going to close this out. This is Cece with Going Solo, and you are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I hope you'll stick around with us each and every time we do a great show. We're going to have a lot of different series, a lot of different shows that are going to be coming forward, both live here on Be Live TV on Facebook, and we're also going to be doing, of course, our normal 24/7 right on our station, internet station, GoingSoloNetwork.com. So Rosalind's on there. I'm on there. We have many other hosts on there. So we hope that you will join us each and every time. Anytime you can't sleep, just get on the site and listen to a show. It'll help you. Okay, bye for now. Thank you.